So the people in Canada who say they're for free speech, specifically those on the right and conservatives, all those people who are silent about Faith Goldy and other individuals on the far right, the ultra far right, who talk about, white replacement and things like this, everybody who's silent about them being censored, has a role to play in the recent demise of freedom of speech. Good things or bad things cannot happen unless good men just stand by and let it happen. So, all these people who are silent, who are not saying anything because they don't want to be tied in to with white nationalism. They don't want the media to come after them. They don't want, all the negative circumstances that will come with defending people like Faith Goldy. Understand that it's only a matter of time until they go for people like you. That is their real goal. Their ultimate goal is to label anybody who is not actively an anti-white, racist, socialist as a Nazi, as a bigot. Look at schools and universities, how they're not even teaching old white men like Shakespeare and Socrates and stuff anymore, and math is racist and stuff like this. Anything that really, talks about white people, talks about their history, their achievements. If you're not actively saying, oh, white people are bad and minorities are great and we need to give them tons of money, then you will be labeled a racist. So unless you want to do that, unless you can see yourself doing that in the future, you may as well take the risk to come out and speak up for people that are being censored. And their only crime is saying, oh, I don't think white people are so bad. Oh, they're being replaced in their own countries. Now, you don't even need to believe it as a conspiracy theory. It's just fact, right? You don't need to believe that somebody's behind it and like people are saying. You just need to look at the numbers, look at the demographics, go to the Young Turks with Cenk Uygur and look up white people being minority by 2050. He reads it to his audience. He's like, guess what, everybody? White people are going to be a minority in America by 2050. And everybody claps and they're like, yay, yeah, this is such a great thing. So it's not a conspiracy. It is actually happening. Now, there's many different reasons it's happening. People are having less kids. There's drug addiction. There's plenty of different things. But we're not even allowed to talk about it. You're going to be censored. And if you don't fall in line, then you're a Nazi. So all these people that are pussies right now, they're not willing to come out and defend her. You're next. Why don't you get that? But they will soon understand. You see, after this happened, they started showing a picture of Faith Goldy with Andrew Scheer when she worked for the rebel media, and they're like, look, they're together. And not only 2 months ago, he was at a rally with Faith Goldy, and they were sharing an audience together and a podium together, and he has yet to denounce her. So they're trying to make that image out that he's really a secret white nationalist or whatever. But you know what? They're always going to try to label people on the right, conservatives, as that. If you talk about family values, you're a white supremacist, because the people that are running things are Marxist, they're cultural Marxist, and they're against basic conservative values like a strong family, like less government, more free market. They're completely against that. They want to demonize stuff like this because they want a socialist authoritarian government where they're in control of pretty much everything. So that's why they're always going to demonize, capitalism is white supremacy. Oh, this is white supremacy. This is white supremacy. Meritocracy, that's white supremacy. So it's all white supremacy. So You know, you may as well, if you say you support free speech, then actually do it, okay? Then actually do it. So it's there to defend the people who are saying things that the rest of the public does not want to hear. That's the whole point of free speech. And yes, it's a private company, and they can do what they want, blah, 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 blah. We all understand that. But you yourself, you could stand up and say, hey, this is bullshit. What is going on? But most of you are too scared because you're gonna be like, oh, so what? You're fine with white people talking about them going extinct, and or their populations completely decreasing, and them being becoming a minority in their own country, right? Like, you know, like you're already gonna be smeared. So just come out and actually defend free speech. Come out and defend the things that people don't want to hear. And a lot of people do want to hear it. A lot of people wouldn't be opposed to hearing it. But we listen to the loudest voices, the ones that make the most noise, and we assume that this is what represents the majority of people. And I can understand that as well, because a lot of people are also silent, and they're afraid. They're afraid to say what they really think. They're afraid to speak up about what is really going on. And they have been completely brainwashed. They think that this is a good thing, that we're becoming a multicultural nation. And I got nothing against people of different cultures and races and stuff. I want these cultures to thrive and to live on and continue. But I also want mine too. And this multiculturalism thing is only being promoted in countries that are Western, like Canada, America, France, Germany, the UK, Sweden. You know, it's all these countries that are going to get extremely diverse. It's not a two-way street. So it shouldn't be a bad thing to talk about this, to talk about us retaining rights over our own country and being able to lower immigration. That just shows you how bad things really are. And before things get too bad, it's time to speak up now. It's time to say something now, because you're not going to avoid the smears that people like Faith Goldy or whomever else are getting right now. You're not going to avoid that. It's going to be labeled to you. And then if you want to avoid it, then you're just going to be quiet and you're going to let it get worse and worse and worse. And you will be also responsible. Because if you just step aside and let bad people do shit, you're just as bad to a large extent, especially if you have the ability to do something about it, which a lot of people do, if they're just willing to actually believe in the concept of freedom of speech. It's not just something the government grants you. It's an actual concept that you need to fully understand, to fully understand its value, right? Because it's the freedom of speech and the fact that we have it that allows us to progress as a society. Because if we weren't able to speak about these things, then we would just resolve things through violence, through killing each other, and all this other censorship. It doesn't help with creating new things in society as well. Just like why competition is so and so good as well. Like, people really need to understand why these things were kind of founded and instituted within our countries early on, with these ideals to pretty much stay the way they are, stay stagnant, not change. But over time, we believe the propaganda from the left that we need to censor speech because it's violence and it's going to lead to violence. And, yes, if you're actively calling for people to be killed and all that stuff, that could lead to violence. But talking about white people and what is happening to them, is not going to lead to violence. What's going to lead to violence is censoring these people. Because what is left when people no longer have words, can no longer debate, can no longer talk without being, censored or shamed? Well, we all saw what happened in New Zealand, and that's not a threat or anything from my part, but this is just a reality of humans, of the animal that we are, that if you just, shove us in a corner and just tell us to shut up, like, that's not gonna work. People will lash out eventually, but I honestly believe that is what people really want at the end of the day. Leftists want, because you see the impacts of what the New Zealand attack, the Alexandre Bissonnette in Quebec, you see what these attacks and the impacts they have worldwide in all these different Western countries, how we change our laws because of things that happen in New Zealand, right? And we're like, okay, now we all have to take away our guns, and we all need to remove hateful content of white replacement from YouTube, blah, 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 blah. So, really, they honestly probably know exactly what they're doing. They want to censor people like this, people like us, and they want us to go out and retaliate so that they can go and enforce more authoritarian measures on everybody. They understand human psychology very well, and they know how to utilize it against us and to make us do things that they want. But once again, to all the conservatives, speak out. Say something about this. Say something about the next person who says stuff about white people and and Islam, etc. Like, defend these people, because that will mean that you actually truly believe in freedom of speech, and you're not just paying lip service to it like a lot of these other people that are just, frankly, cowards. But that's all I really had to say. If you like my content, subscribe and have a good day. See ya.